If you're looking for a way to get started on your research paper, this video may help you out with that. This video talks about the first steps of writing your research paper. In order to do that, we're going to start by figuring out what it is that you want to write about and then how to go about finding information related to that topic. And so, let's begin. Welcome to Educational Research Tips. Today, I will discuss how to effectively begin your research writing. Now, where should you begin? Well, if you have an idea in mind already, you can jump right into researching and writing something based off of that idea. But otherwise, here are some things to consider before you even begin writing. First, make sure you know why you're researching this particular topic. Why did you choose this subject matter to research? Is there anything specific that you want to learn more about, or is it just because someone else has chosen this subject matter? You need to figure out what it is that drives you to take interest in this topic. If you don't really understand why you're doing this research, you might find yourself getting frustrated very quickly when you realize that all these articles and books are not providing any clear answers as far as how to approach your topic. And that may result in you losing focus and become discouraged. So making sure that you understand why you're doing research is important. Second, you want to make sure that you've got enough time to dedicate to doing your research. Because, honestly, research papers take quite a bit of time. They require lots of reading and rereading of documents, lots of note-taking, and they also require analysis, which can be very time-consuming. And finally, make sure that you are comfortable writing the thesis statement. Like I mentioned earlier, I think it's common for people who are new to research papers to feel like their entire paper is already written in their head. They've figured out everything that needs to be said, and now it's only a matter of putting those thoughts down on paper. But the truth of the matter is that you still haven't actually done any real work yet. You haven't thought through any of the different aspects of the research paper. So what does that mean? It means that you are going to have to sit down and actually carefully read over each document that you have found while you're researching. You will have to analyze the content of the documents, and you'll have to determine whether, or not, it contains sufficient evidence to support what you believe to be true. And lastly, once you've made those decisions, you'll have to develop a thesis statement that clearly states your argument and why. Now, keep in mind that developing your own ideas isn't necessarily the best way to approach a research paper. Sometimes you might find yourself working from a book or a magazine article. And sometimes you might find yourself working directly from another student's paper or essay. But either way, make sure that you're following the same basic steps. Make sure that you're gathering information and analyzing it. Once you're ready to put together your paper, then you can use your own personal experiences to tie the pieces of information together. Now, let me give you a few examples of thesis statements that you could use. Let's say that you were studying the effects of pollution on wildlife. Here's a sample thesis statement that you could use. Pollution is having an adverse effect on wildlife populations. In fact, many scientists believe that global warming is partly responsible for the increase of species extinction. Another example would be if you wanted to write a research paper about the impacts of social media on teenagers today. This is a pretty broad topic, but it's something that we're all experiencing every single day. Here's a good thesis statement that would apply to our situation. Social media can have both positive and negative consequences for teens today. And it depends on how they are using the technology. For example, if teens are constantly posting photos online with other members of their peer group, this can lead them to develop unhealthy relationships with others. If you're interested in learning more about the process of researching a paper, make sure that you check out uvofox.com. It is a website for essay writing and editing services. You can also send me an email at raylinlacosta@gmail.com. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If so, please share it with your friends and family. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified when I post a new video.